Okay, we're back. We've been working on the hat, so we're going to go in the back portion of the hat now. I'm going to put a notch and come up from the bottom. Alright, just like so. Alright. Bring that up a little bit more. Okay. And we're going to meet this line with that notch. We're going to bring this down and around. And we're going to slowly, let me use the other knife, see if that's a little nicer to use. It's a better feel in my hand for some reason today. Alright, and the same thing here. We're going to follow this down and follow it over to there. Alright. And remember, if it doesn't come out clean, just go back and recut it. You don't want to be pulling stuff, because say you had a little piece here that was stuck and you went to pull it, you might rip this whole section out, and then you'd have to repair it or make the hat much deeper, or maybe in a different shape altogether. So you just want to kind of take your time with it. And there's no hurry for it, rushing through this stuff, you know, really. So I'm going to go back and recut everything a little bit better, and so everything's a little more redefined down here. Alright, now with that all done, we're going to go back up here to the hat, and we're going to start scooping it out like we do with all our hats here. We're going to do each side. This part was already taken out because I said there was a little bit of a knot there. Just wanted to make sure it didn't go through the whole wood. I didn't see it when I was cutting it. That's the only thing with basswood. Sometimes you get a surprise every so often inside. You know, the guy that's selling it to you probably doesn't know if it's completely clear all the way through. They might have little knots in it, so you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. Now if they say it's a number 2 or a number 3, I don't even know if there's a number 3 grade, but if it's a lesser grade, it might have those knots, and he might tell you that ahead of time. You can work around that because you use sections of this wood. You know, it's not like you're using a huge section, but sometimes it's harder to work around than others, depending what size your pieces are. Mine are fairly small anyway, so I really enjoy doing something that I can hold in my hand, as you can tell. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to scoop out the front. Right at the top of the brim here, we're just scooping it out. Okay, and now up here we're going to try to make this kind of round for the tassel. Alright, before we actually put that line all the way around. I'm just looking at it from the top here. And you know, it gives me an idea how much I need to take off. Now if you want to, you can put a little cross across the top to give you more of a reference to things. That's perfectly fine. A lot of carvers will do a lot of references that way. I will too as well. If I'm working on something, I'll put a line down the middle to know that I'm keeping it even. So reference points are okay, and it's okay to mark things. If you just because you don't, you know, you see some carvers that don't, like myself sometimes. We've been at it for a while. We've done so many of these that we have a general idea where we're cutting and what we need to look for. A lot of times you want to do too when you're carving, you want to stop for a minute and just look at it, okay? Like here I'm looking at it, I can see I should take off some more on this side, scoop it out a little further, look at it from the front, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this line. Now you can use the tip of your knife to do this, but you got to be very careful that you don't slip off, okay, and keep your hand out of the way. You can also use your knife to make a nice, just go around and just rock it back and forth. I've done this a lot lately. It's just saves a little bit of time, and it's not as dangerous than using the tip of the knife and putting a lot of force on it. So then you'll just want to bring this up, kind of go up and down. Sorry about that. You know, it'll give you a nice straight line all the way around. Just make sure your line matches when you go all the way around that way. But usually if you draw it on, you can usually follow that line. It's pretty good. Alright, so as you can see, it will be coming here shortly here that we'll be done with it. And then I'll have to carve some of these, of course. Hopefully I'll have a couple ready for Christmas. We'll see how fast I am going. I've worked all year for a few weeks of the year to really sell, and You know, I put some things on eBay and stuff closer to Christmas time. I don't put things on there all the time, but I might utilize that a little more in the coming year. Okay, so that's the bottom part of the hat. So now we're going to go into the top and take off that edge. When you wet this wood, it cuts like butter. It really does. It's just a lot easier to cut it. And I can tell the deeper I get, it's not been hit with that solution, and it gets a little tougher to cut. And then you can stop for a second and you can spray it a little bit like I'm doing now. These bottles you can buy at Walmart. It's not a big deal. They're $1. They spray a little bit more than the other one I was using from a hairspray. That's a little finer mess, but I'm just trying to get rid of the excess water here. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here. We're going to pop in the nose a little bit so we have an idea where that goes. You have that drawn on already. Alright. Alright, up here we're going to do it a little bit at an angle. And turn of the nose. Alright. Right down here. And I'm going to just round this off a little bit. And then we're going to put an eye on this one, of course, and I'll have to go out and cut some more of these blanks. I only had 2. I'm going to make this a little deeper and bring this in a little further. Alright. Alright, now, well, as you can see, we have a lot of this already figured out. We have here, we're going to have the beard come up and around, okay? We have a little bit of a curvature here. The beard's going to be partially behind the bow, alright? So kind of figure out where that goes, and right. Because this hat's draping a little further, you're not going to have as much of a beard on this side, but you get the idea. I'm sure you get the idea here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of put a stop cut kind of deep, right up to the brim of the hat. We're going to take our knife, we're going to cut from the bottom up. And I'm going to just cut this side as well. So we have a nice big V cut, and that's going to be redone. Alright, a little bit here. Let me cut a little bit more off there, just kind of round it off a little bit more. Now this is his arms here, and we're going to work on that in a little bit here. We're